welcome to the video. So, this video is all about the advantages and disadvantages of being sober. So, apart from like a very, I made a video about, why I'm sober. I'll link that in the description. It kind of covers the background. I was never an addict or anything like that. I just chose to be sober. It's coming up to a year, but that's only if you ignore the little wobble I had when I got furloughed. That was like a bit emotional. So yeah, I cracked and had a beer. But all of that said, going back to the reasons I became sober, it wasn't because I was an addict. So there's no imperative need for me to stay sober. If I want to start drinking again, like tomorrow, I'll just go out and start drinking again. I don't drink because the advantages massively outweigh the disadvantages, and I keep forgetting because I want this channel to so much be about really good kind of diet, nutrition, weight loss, fitness advice. That probably a big thing that might help people even more than all of that is talking about kind of being sober and what it's like, and maybe if I tell my story in terms of being sober more and more, and videos like this, that might help people even more than or inspire people to quit drinking, because this is a great time to do it. So that said, that's what this video is about. Advantages, disadvantages. I'm basically going to be 3 of each that I think covers the whole thing, and then like a really important summary / word of warning at the end. So welcome to the video. Hope you enjoy it. Okay, welcome back. So let's dive straight into it. So one of the first massive advantages, bit of an obvious one, but no hangovers, okay? And this one is so obvious. But I'll try and emphasize it and go into more detail. But just all I would say is try and imagine like 6 months, or even 3 months, no hangovers. Like ignore the getting drunk, and the health side of it and losing weight and all that stuff. But like just imagine 6 months of clear head, not feeling like crap for a whole day. I don't know about you, but like I'm 37. As soon as I kind of got into my 30s, like the concept of a one-day hangover kind of disappeared. Every time I had like a 2-day hangover at least, and they'd roll it, a big night would roll into I wouldn't feel good for almost 3 days. And that just really slows you down, mentally makes you feel terrible. So just imagine not having that. If you get really bad hangovers, it would like change your life. If you don't get that bad hangovers, you're probably never going to quit drinking, because hangovers is such a major reason. I'll go over the other advantages as well, maybe that'll inspire you even if your hangovers aren't that bad. But I literally think you can split the world up into 2 types of people. I'm never convinced people don't get hangovers. I've had people say that. I literally cannot believe it. I think the difference where there's 2 types of people is people that are fine with a hangover. They're totally fine with it. It doesn't bother them. I don't know, it's like a badge of honor, or they always have such an amazing night and they have so much fun that the hangover is totally worth it, or some weird way they kind of enjoy the hangover. For a lot of people it's like an excuse, I don't know, to sit around, eat junk food, watch Netflix all day. They kind of like that. It's like part and parcel of the night out. You earned it, you had such a great night out, and maybe you've had a hard week. But it really wasn't me. I got really anxious and really bad hangovers, so not having that really improved my mental health and made me feel great. So that, I would definitely say, massive advantage. And in order for this video to be useful, the way I would envisage it is literally, don't just think about a couple of weeks without a hangover, 1 month. Think about literally 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, a year, no hangovers. How good would that be? Imagine what you would get done, imagine how much fitter you'd be, how much more training you'd do, how many more runs you'd go on, how much more you'd go to the gym, you know, and just how, if, I'm not saying, you know, I'm not saying this to everyone, because I know this doesn't happen to everyone when they get hangovers, but if you do suffer from like anxiety and depression, and your hangovers really exacerbate that, or it just hits you when you have the hangover, like seriously, probably one of the biggest benefits also that I'll talk about specifically is like my mental health has improved so much, and my sleep, because of not having the hangovers and not drinking. Honestly guys, can't say enough, it is amazing. So that's definitely big, you know, it's as good as you can imagine it. You know, speaking from someone who has done it, it's as good as you can imagine it is. It's so good. So big advantage, no hangovers. So moving on, and like a neat segue into that, yeah, I've already talked about it. Probably the biggest thing, and they are like, these two are intertwined, but they're all kind of intertwined, but especially these two is, like I said, my mental health. Yeah, so massive advantage number two is my mental health. Oh my god. So, you know, I am one of those people, if you don't you know, suffer from, or you don't think you suffer from anxiety or mental health at all, then cool, this really isn't going to like resonate with you. So I guess I am talking to the people that suffer from, you know, a bit of depression, a bit of anxiety. Part of the reason of what, you know, I did another video about my story to try and put all of these videos into context, all the other videos, so I'll link that in the description as well. But probably a big part of the reason I became sober, not a big part of the reason, but definitely like a trigger, and it's definitely why I started it for like a couple of months. But the reason I stayed on it was just all the other kind of health benefits and just the productivity and the mental clarity, because the thing is, you can kind of forget that if, you know, you don't feel all those other benefits. Like, you can forget just that, you know, you haven't, like, you can not care, you can just want to go out and have a drink and have fun with your friends and join in and get drunk, and that'll outweigh, you know, just the fact that you needed a time out because something stressful had happened in your life. But I think the thing that keeps you going, you know, takes you to 6 months, takes you to a year, is, you know, the other things I'm going to talk about, the other advantages. Previous one, no hangovers, the health benefits and the mental clarity of that, and the better sleep, you know, that starts prioritizing. But the mental health, you know, and that massively relates to sleep, you get much better sleep. So, and like I was saying, when, you know, you start having 2-day hangovers, I don't think, like, that first night where you're totally drunk, your sleep is absolutely terrible. It's like you haven't slept. So even if you crash out and you've been in bed 7 hours, you might only actually have got like half that amount of sleep, if that. Yeah, probably like a fraction, probably like a quarter actually of that amount of sleep. So that's why you wake up feeling terrible when you feel so tired. And then if you have, you know, if it's been like not even like a massive night, maybe even like a medium one, you know, you're not going to feel great the day after that. You might feel, you know, fine, but you know, you're still going to feel like a bit lethargic and a bit, you know, not great, and you won't sleep well. That's what I found. You know, I didn't sleep well the second night either. And that, again, that tiredness, it's a cycle, right? They feed each other. They absolutely all feed each other. Anyone will tell you, any psychologist will tell you that what feeds this loop is, you know, depression, anxiety stops you from sleeping, and then the lack of sleep feeds your depression and your anxiety. They all contribute and they feed into each other. And then drinking is just like a fuel for that, big time. So if you stop, then it stops that cycle. You start, after a while, you just start sleeping better and better. And the difference is, even if you go through some rough times, yeah, you still might not sleep. Not stress enough. Mental health, like, you just feel like a different person. You feel like totally clear and refreshed, and just anxiety and the depression, you know, it melts away, and it will come back. Like, of course it will come back. I'm not saying that you never feel anxious or depressed again. If something bad happens in your life, you know, of course it will come. You're going to feel it. But imagine, you know, say something really bad happens to you, and how you would have reacted, you know, before when you drank, you know, and you got drunk, and then you woke up like hungover. So you've got your normal level of depression from whatever that, you know, say a family member gets sick. So you've got your family member sick, and you're feeling that anxiety, depression all the time, and that is like here, that's like a 5 out of 10, and then you're prone to a bit of anxiety and depression no matter what's going on in your life when you drink. So that goes up then, you know, to like what, an 8 or a 9, like you're super anxious, like you're feeling like super depressed, you feel like absolute crap, and you get a real funk, and it takes you a good few days, even when the hangover's worn off, it takes you a good few days to like shake that off, get the monkey off your back. When you stop drinking, you know, it's so much easier to deal with. It just stays at a 5 the whole time, and it might be one of those situations, you know, yeah, if a family member's sick, that you're still feeling that 5 every day. But I know from experience, there's a reason I won't go back to drinking, because, you know, some other stuff happened to me after my breakup and my dad having his heart attack. COVID freaking happened, and I got put on furlough, and then eventually I got made redundant. That was like relatively recently, a couple of months ago, at the time of making this video. And, you know, I know that I would have handled it so much worse and been so depressed and so unhappy, you know, so much worse. I'd have just been like such a deeper pit that takes you so much longer to get out of, if you're drinking as well and just having the hangovers. So yeah, mental health is just, it's amazing, the benefits. If you are prone to anxiety and depression, I would just like strongly recommend, just, you know, if you want, if it really appeals to you, don't force yourself, you know, but if you want to give it a go, I strongly recommend, yeah, just give it a crack, have a go, try and go a month, see how you feel, and, you know, you'll realise the huge benefit it has if you're that type of personality. So yeah, moving on, that was advantage number 3. So moving on to the final, number 3 is your physical health, okay? Now, wow, so there's obviously, you know, your mental health, and these two relate, so they feed each other. So your mental health improves, and, you know, obviously you're not hungover, you're not feeling like crap, so you train more, like you run more, you don't miss gym days, you don't miss a run day, like you're getting out there, and this feeds itself, right? So if you're getting out there all the time, then you see improvements. And one thing, whether you're drinking or not, that will push you harder and harder, you know, to go to the gym more or to run more, you know, whatever your thing is when you see improvements. If you go to the gym and you see difference in your body composition, you gain muscle, you lose body fat, that's hugely motivating. That really pushes you to keep going to the gym over and over again. You've got so much more energy. That's the other thing, guys, just like energy with the fit. Well, I'm saying, like your physical health, you just have so much more energy. It's why I can go to the gym every day. It's why I'm arguably the best shape of my life. I am back down to like 12.5 stone, okay? And beginning of 2019, I was 1.5 stone heavier, and I've been that weight, like 13.5, even 14 for like years, for the last 6 years, probably, at least, probably longer than that. I'm only saying longer than that because like I was heavier, even heavier before that, like uni days and when I was drinking loads with like work when I was younger. I haven't been this weight, I haven't been this light since, and this low body fat, you know, since I was a kid, since I was like 16, like swimming, when I was swimming like 4 times a week, when I was like a competitive swimmer, which is incredible because I'm 37 now, and I'm probably, you know, if I carry on this trajectory, I might even end up in better shape than in those days when I was, you know, when I was a competitive swimmer. incredible. And I know the only way I've been able to do that, there's two reasons, being completely honest. I'm not just going to say drinking is some magic pill, and because I stopped drinking that happened. That's bullshit, okay? I'm not going to bullshit you guys. It definitely wasn't that. It was 100% those hard times in my life that I said, you know, there's nothing like a breakup to get your ass in the gym, right? Nothing like a breakup to get your ass in the gym, to get you out and buying, you know, down the running shop, new running shoes, new running gear, and, you know, all of a sudden you're a runner, and it's all to lose body fat, to look good. You know, secretly it's all just, you know, when you bump into your ex, you want to look good the next time. But there's nothing wrong with that. Like, who cares? Like, who cares what your motivation is initially, as long as that evolves, as long as that motivation evolves into just wanting to be the best version of yourself and to be stronger and to be fitter and to have, you know, like a great physique, to be proud of how you look. There's nothing wrong with that. So yeah, that, you know, I'm not saying that was the motivation that kick-started it, and then a combination, I quit drinking as well, but those two kind of really fueled my consistency. But that is it, guys. It's like, it's not as simple as, you know, you quit drinking and all of a sudden you're healthier. It's this feedback loop, yeah. It fuels your training, and it gives you the energy, and also just outright, something that is just an outright point blank advantage is like you lose weight because you're not consuming those alcohol calories. Even if you start drinking 0 alcohol beers and 0 alcohol wines, something that I don't really know why, maybe it's something to do with the sugar content or something, but it's like half the calories. Like a 0 beer is like 70 calories. It's like half, like that, not even half of a normal beer. Like a pint, it's, I don't know why, but you just save tons of calories. And then if you quit completely and not even drink that stuff for a couple of months, and then you start drinking the 0 alcohol stuff, you would like, it's one of those things where weight will just fall off you. It happened. But yeah, removing those alcohol calories, which is absolutely tons if you drink, you know, just as much as like the average person in the UK, then bang, you are looking at an absolute ton of calories saved. And, you know, you should lose weight. I mean, unless you compensate with, like, you know, other foods and stuff, which, I mean, I did that as well. But because this is the thing, but going back to the, you know, my previous point, you train so much more, you probably can have like food treats a little bit more, because you're saving calories. You're saving so many calories from not drinking. You can probably have a few more treats food-wise, and you know, if you get into training as well, you should still lose weight. You'll lose weight a little bit slower, maybe, because you're having those treats, but you know, you'll still lose weight and you'll still slowly look better done. Which leads me on to honourable mentions. So a couple of things didn't quite make the top 3, but are massive. So one is, like I just mentioned, productivity. Oh my God, you get a lot of your time back, right? Because you're not, you're not, you know, drinking as much. But then, you know, so that time actually drinking, that's not a huge amount. And you still might go out a lot with your mates and not drink. So it's not really that, it's the hangover time, yeah? Like, you save all that hangover time. So if you're, you know, certainly there's like one day that's a write-off, right, where you're not productive. You don't want to sit down and work on your side hustle, work on your hobbies. You don't want to do that. Like, I know when I was hungover, that was the last thing I wanted to do. So, yeah. That is a massive benefit. Like, you are so much more productive, you get tons done, and then again, that feeds your mental health. Like, I feel way better when I've been more productive and got loads of stuff done, so you feel so much better. And this is going back to what I said at the very beginning of the video, the reason I stayed sober was because of these multitude of things. It wasn't one thing. They all kind of like fed into each other, and there were so many advantages at the end of the day that they just massively outweighed the disadvantages. There was no contest. So when I got to my work Christmas party, when I got to going out with my family on Christmas Eve, we usually get absolutely hammered, and it's loads of fun. when it got to, you know, my birthday, a big birthday party I had, you know, when it got to all these events and people, you know, all my friends and family were like laughing because I used to be able to just keep going. There was no off switch. I would just absolutely pound it. And yeah, like pound it like there was no tomorrow. And other things is you have way more time. I've kind of covered that. But yeah, you seriously, right? I was surprised. You just have so much more time. And it's not, you know, so much more time to get stuff done, but then also to chill. You can chill loads more and you just get, yeah, better rest. Like you enjoy your chill time more. It's just great. And again, and then that's even better for your mental health because you have this more time to chill. It's awesome. So that's another one. And then finally, which I think is like the least important, like no one's going to completely like quit drinking for this reason. It's just kind of like a cherry on the cake, which is saving money. So think about how much you spend on booze. And even when I started drinking the 0.5 beers, you know, or the 0.0 beers, or you know, or the no alcohol like gin and tonics and stuff. Even when I started drinking that, I spent not even. It was not even close to how much I spend normally on a night out, and that's because you just drink way more. Like if I'm drinking 0 beers, I just won't drink that many. I'll stop. You're very good at like managing your intake. Yeah, you drink nowhere near as much, and then you don't get like shots in and all that stuff. I used to buy like, you know, shots for everyone. You make these like dumb financial decisions when you're pissed, obviously. You buy like huge trays of shots, like 20 quid, gone, bang. I mean, I used to spend just absolute fortunes on nights out. It was crazy. So I saved at least, I would say 200 quid a month. Like easily. I mean, I spent a friggin' 100 quid at least on coffee. So, and the amount I was drinking back in the day, I have as many pints as I'd have coffees. And this is even like sitting down with a mate, having a pint and stuff. 100%, at least 200 quid a week. So that was a nice little cherry on the cake. And again, that went on for way longer than I expected. I really wanted to keep this video short, but I feel like I'm on a roll. I hope you're enjoying it. So we will come back for the second part, which is going to be the disadvantages. I think it's really important to get the disadvantages over as well. Okay guys, welcome back. So talked about the advantages, get straight into the disadvantages. I think it's really important to let you know about the disadvantages. Like, why? Because the disadvantages seem obvious to people. But I don't think they are that obvious because, you know, they weren't that obvious to me before I started, so I thought I would just share that. So yeah, we'll dive in. That's why I think it's good to discuss the potential disadvantages, because even if you stop drinking, at least you'd have seen it coming. There wouldn't be a surprise. And then going into it, you can be mentally prepared. You'd have already thought about it, yeah? So one thing I've got to say now, I'm not saying this 100% definitely happened to you, okay? It might not. You might have a different social circle. You might already have a different kind of mentality that's like kind of suited to this, so it doesn't happen. But one thing that will almost certainly happen, at least to most people, and you've got to be prepared for it, and you've got to like have the right mentality right from the beginning, is you will become an outcast, okay? You will become an outcast. Now that sounds negative, yeah? It sounds really negative. Oh my God, I don't want to be an outcast. I don't want to be an outcast with my friends and my family, but you'll feel like an outcast, yeah? You'll sit there and, you know, they'll all be drinking and like having fun, and you will just feel like you're not 100% part of it, yeah? And where it sounds negative, but let's try and flip it, okay? And I think what I want to caveat and where I'll heavily get into in the summary is what I think, in my experience, what you need to go into sobriety with is a really like certain mindset that you're an outcast, but that's awesome. Like, it's really cool. All it means is that you are just your own person, yeah? You don't care what other people think. You don't let other people like influence you. you do your own thing, okay? And that was because what you also have to realize is if you can have a really great time not drinking, just have fun, yeah? Just get your energy up and have a great time and have fun and like relax as much as you can and be an outcast, be in your own little bubble, but not in a bad way, right? Be your own little bubble, be like, this is my friggin' awesome little bubble. My little bubble is pimp, it is badass, yeah? It's like, it's just me in my own little world and I'm doing whatever I want. So what I find I do a lot more now is, you know, whilst my friends, I'll interact and I'll joke and I'll laugh, I'm not, their night out, the group is not like 100% what I'm involved in. I'll look around the rest of the bar, I'll go for a little wander, I'll chat to the bar staff, I'll chat to some strangers, I'll have a little laugh, I'll amuse myself. And one other key thing is when it gets too much, when everyone is absolutely obliterated, one mistake people I think can make, and I've made it a couple of times, is you persist and you stick around because you've got this like outcast paranoia. You're like, I want to stick around because I don't want to be an outcast. I'm going to stay to the bitter end to prove it. And maybe do that a couple of times so you can kind of prove to your friends and prove to yourself that like you're totally cool staying to the bitter end, but only do it when it's an awesome night out, yeah? When you're having a great time, when maybe you move onto the dance floor and there's an amazing DJ, or, you know, it just flows. Like, look, the thing is, on nights out, yeah, I've had way more bad nights out than good nights out. Well, not bad, but like average, yeah? I've had way more like kind of average nights out, and that's by definition gonna happen because a special awesome night out isn't gonna be special or awesome if every single night out is that awesome, okay? It's impossible. And then you wouldn't have special and awesome nights out. So you have loads of average ones. So what I wished I did more, even when I was drinking, but you can't because you're battered, you don't make good decisions when you're battered. You stay on that night out and you keep drinking and you keep spending money. But when you're not battered, you can make those like sensible decisions. You can be like sitting there, especially after you've gone along a while, you'll get more and more confident and you'll just get to the point where, yeah, this is crap now, I'm bored. People are like slurring. Someone actually like, you know, dribbled on me a little bit, kind of gross. I'm just not having fun now. Yeah, even if people aren't that drunk, you're just like, I'm a bit bored. When you're sober, you just make that decision. You know, you take a step back and you make that decision. You assess the situation. I'm like, bored, so you bust. Yeah, you just go. The other thing, and this is kind of like an outright disadvantage. I cannot think of a way to like spin this into a positive, but again, it's just something to own. Okay, it's something to like not care about. Like you see the advantages outweighing the disadvantages, and disadvantage number 2 is not being invited to stuff, okay? And people, I guess, relate, you know, drinking to how fun you are, and maybe I did come across as less fun, or maybe it's because people don't want you around because they feel like, you know, guilty that they're drinking and you're not, because you're more like healthier than them or something, if they want to be healthy. I don't know why, okay? There could be 100 reasons why, it doesn't really matter, but you will get invited to less stuff. Probably not like big events, like birthday parties and stuff, but like, if there's going to be like a big night out and people are going to get like really messy and really go for it, and there isn't really like an occasion or anything, yeah, you probably won't get invited. You might hear it through someone else, but you'll definitely get invited to less stuff, okay? Now, again, don't worry about that, okay? If you've got like anyone who you end up being like distanced from and not invited to stuff, they're probably not really like your good close mates. Like this, maybe I can flip this, so another, you know, turns into an advantage. You really find out who your friends are, your good friends are, who really love spending time with you. They should not care, or they should certainly care a hell of a lot less. Anyone who really is just like not inviting you to stuff, or, you know, is saying to the other mates like, oh, I don't invite them, I don't drink, is like, you know, that's all, they're doing that really for the wrong reasons. And, you know, maybe they're better off, you know, maybe you're better off not going to those things and not hanging out with those people. So that's maybe like a really good way of looking at it. Again, it's just another thing you've got to own in the whole sobriety thing. Like, you've got to make it like just part of who you are and your identity, and you've got to accept some of the negatives as well as all the advantages, okay? It's not 100% solely advantages. I'm not going to tell you that. There are some downsides. Moving swiftly on, this is a big one. and this is something I'm very much still figuring out. Okay, so I'm really going to flag this as, yeah, again, something to just be like really aware of. I can't give you advice on how to like flip it, like maybe I can a bit, but I'm really still like massively figuring this out. So third disadvantage is, or something to be very, very aware of is, dating and finding a partner or girlfriend. So yeah, I mean, I would definitely say something that, you know, like a disadvantage, dating really becomes a challenge. But yeah, it's definitely a lot trickier, right? So I went on dates and I could just like tell, even a lot of the girls initially like probably liked it, they probably like thought it was cool, but then what happened was, and again, I am not judging, I totally get it, I know I would be like this if it was the other way around and I dated someone who was not a drinker, and this is suffice to say that they were really sound and I liked them and they were still like funny and gregarious and you had a great time with them even though they didn't drink. This is like, say that's a given, right? So you did want to keep seeing them, but if you met up, right, and even though you saw the advantages and you're like, oh, them not drinking is like really cool, and maybe like I'll drink less and you know, maybe it'd be good for me, it'd be like healthy for me. The thing is, right, what I can totally understand people thinking is, that's great for like first date, certainly, second date's still okay, quite like it, third date, yeah, it's all right. When you get into that fourth date, fifth date territory, and especially if they've had a hard day, so when do you want to drink, right? When do you really want to drink? And not just you want to drink, but ideally you want to share it with someone, especially someone you're dating, especially like your other half, or someone might end up being your other half. But you're going to meet this person, and instead of you sharing that experience, both getting pissed together and bonding and having that kind of no inhibitions fun, and you know, who knows where that will lead, you're meeting someone who's just going to sit there and, you know, worst case scenario is they don't have any zero alcohol stuff, so they're going to be there drinking tea or you know, soda and limes, or you know, whatever, if there's nothing there that they want to drink. I can imagine that being rubbish for someone, and suddenly they start feeling like, it's only natural they feel a little bit judged. They're like, oh, this person, you know, I'm going to feel like battered tomorrow and this person's going to feel great, like fuck them. And you know, they're gonna, and they're not going to feel like that relaxed around you, because you're not bonding through the alcohol experience. Finding other sober people is like really hard, like really, really hard. Especially for being sober, you know, for being sober for the right reasons. Finding another person out there, right? Believe me, I've tried. Finding another person who is sober for just the same reasons, just decided to quit drinking one day, no other reason than you just wanted to be healthy, you wanted more mental clarity, all this stuff. You know, basically, good luck with that, really difficult. So you've just got to hope that you find someone who probably does drink. What I think, who I'll end up meeting, it will be someone who, because I'm single now obviously, is someone who does drink, but like doesn't drink that much, and is healthy, like trains a lot, eats healthy food, and yeah, they do drink, but they don't drink that much, and they certainly, you know, very rarely get like proper shit-faced, and they like the fact that I don't, because I can drive them home and all that stuff. But just be aware, if there's going to be one thing that maybe, you know, you'll listen to on this video and be like, right, fuck that, I'm not I'm not even going to try and be sober because that sounds terrible, then you actually, it might sound like a weird twisted thing for me to say, because this video is not about encouraging you to become sober, it's about telling you what it's really, really like. The 100% stone cold reality of being sober. It is not all bells and whistles, okay? It's not all, you know, you're not skipping through a field of flowers every day and rejoicing and celebrating, you know. Yeah, that is a reality that, you know, you really need to keep in the background. Don't bullshit yourself before thinking about turning sober long term, or if you're only a month in and you're thinking, right, I'm gonna go for this, I'm gonna make it long term. Seriously, be prepared for the fact that dating is a bit trickier and a bit tougher. But yeah, that's the reality. So they're the three big disadvantages, I would say. especially the last one, about the most important thing, what sobriety gives you and what you need to have before you start on your journey as much as possible. Just be prepared for it. Try and get yourself in this like state of mind, is just being super comfortable in your own skin. Yeah, super comfortable and super confident in your own skin. And coupled with not giving a shit about what other people think. If you care, if you know you're prone to caring what other people think, don't put the pressure on yourself to quit drinking, okay? Work on that first. Work on, if someone invites you on a night out and you really don't want to go because you're not in the mood, saying no. You know, and then in any other scenario where you know, people put pressure on you at work to do something, you don't want to do it and it's not part of your job, work on saying no. Work on being independent minded and just really stopping giving two shits what anyone else thinks about you, okay? Just work on that, Like going into sobriety will be like running before you can walk. But I would definitely say this is the most important thing to have. So if you like be really honest with yourself and you're like, yeah, I am a bit prone to like caring too much about what other people think, I would maybe work on that first and slowly cut your drinking down, and then go like fully sober, or use it, you know, as you're like I really want to care less about what other people think, so I'm going to use sobriety to do that. Give that a go, but don't beat yourself up if you fail. It's a journey. You can fall off the wagon and then just get back on the wagon. It's totally fine. You know, really don't beat yourself up. You know, it's a journey. But I would definitely say that's the mentality you absolutely need to have. I can't see how you would stay sober if you still really cared about what other people think and you weren't just super confident. Not super confident in like every element of your life and every element of your personality. Jesus, you know, wouldn't we all love that? But just in that way, specifically in terms of like nights out and, you know, meeting your friends and your family where you'd usually drink, and just not wanting to drink anymore and not letting, you know, no one pressures you. You feel no pressure to drink. You walk in there and you know you're not going to drink. Doesn't matter what anyone says. You have to walk, every time you walk in a pub, every morning you wake up, you have to be like, yep, I am not going to drink today. And you really love that decision. You really own that decision and you enjoy that decision. So, right. That is it, guys. Oh my God, that is the end of the video. I have no idea how long that's gone on before. Something stupid like 45 minutes, and I wanted it to be like a 15-minute video, but I've gone on this insane rant. But I really hope that helped. I'm just sharing my experience, sharing my thoughts. I hope you find that valuable. If you've got any questions, if you want me to expand on any of the points I've made, you want me to do like a different video about sobriety or anything, you've got any questions, if anything I said didn't make any sense, then please, comments in the description, please like, subscribe. I love making these videos. I love being able to like help people. I hope it's helped some people. I hope it was interesting. You got some insight from it. Sorry, it was a bit ranty, but it is something I'm really passionate about. It's a big part of my life, and I'm kind of just a ranty dude. So anyway, we'll wrap it up there. Thanks for listening, guys. Hope you have an awesome day, and see you in the next one.